Shalom, Kol Halal, Yahal Bashem Yahushai, Bahashim Kodash, double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, including the elder that came before them that taught us his truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers that push in the word and truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. To the Aquat that are listening and learning, being a pillar of rest, the hopeful, the Salaki, the 144,000, one-third, the hopeful elect of Israel. I'm the brother Yahshua. I'm back with the WW3 Daily Update. Shalom and salutations to you all. That's a mouthful. Anyway, yesterday I started where I'm going to start today because Scott Ritter just reiterated everything I said yesterday. So I'm going to say it again today, and I'm going to let him say it, right? Because here's what we see going on. Joel 3 and 10, beat your plowshares and the swords and your pruning hooks and the spears. Let the Houthis, let the weak say I am strong. So what's going on over here? Well, actually, I'm going to let Scott Ritter just break it down, because Napolitano is going to ask him, well, what do you think about, the assassination attempt? And so he's going to give that synopsis, and then he's going to segue into what's going on in the Middle East. And it all ties together. So I'm going to let him, okay, because you ain't going to listen to me. I said all of this yesterday, okay? Because really the whole assassination attempt situation is a distraction from what? From what's going on in the Middle East, the bigger picture, okay? Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain conducting the genocide, who is coming to town. Isn't he coming to Babylon? He's coming to one of the three frogs, right? D.C., right? Isn't he? And they're going to stand up and applaud and sit down and stand right back up and applaud and give him permission to conduct his genocide, right? Isn't that what's about to go on? And nobody's paying attention. They want him to slide in and slide out. What about all the protesting that's going to go on over there while he's there trying to speak? I'm talking about Netanyahu. See? Netanyahu's dangerous American trip. Nobody's talking about that except for Scott Ritter. Let's see what he got. He's controlled opposition too. But anyway, watch how he segues from Trump into the Middle East and to the bigger fish, right? Trump is a distraction.
Hi, everyone. Judge Andrew Napolitano here for Judging Freedom. Today is Monday, July 22nd, 2024. Scott Ritter joins us now. Scott is in the United States. I'm in northern Italy. Scott, it's a pleasure. Thank you for joining us. We both thought that I would be off last week and this week, but historic events require that we comment on them. A week after the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump, what are your thoughts as an ex-Marine, as a person trained in the use of all sorts of firearms? Could this young man have possibly pulled this off on his own? Would the skills necessary to do this be ones of somebody as to whom there's very little record of training or practicing?
The answer to that is highly unlikely. Let me preface my comments by just making it clear to people. While I was an intelligence officer and I had peripheral contact with personal security details, including the Secret Service protection protocols and procedures that are used at the United Nations during the General Assembly, I am not a Secret Service agent. Personal protective security is not my specialty. So I'm like you. I'm an outsider, looking at this. But I am a professional analyst, and I am able to break problems down into their component parts. And
you were in the Marine Corps and trained to use these weapons.
I was in the Marine Corps and I was trained to use the weapons, and I have some familiarity with sniping. So I'm not totally ignorant on this. I just don't want people to think that I'm, some former Secret Service. I'm not.
Okay.
But when you look at probability, the Secret Service is designed from the ground up when you talk about personal protective details to prevent this kind of thing from happening. So one would imagine that if you have a Secret Service that wasn't born yesterday, it's been around for a long time, it's experienced assassination attempts, it should be fine-tuned to this, operating in an environment where, in addition to domestic, the heightened domestic threat, the fact that political violence is a reality in America, you overlay that with, intelligence of potential foreign threats to the president and former president. The Secret Service should be as forward-leaning and effective as one could possibly imagine. Then you compare and contrast that with the shooter, who lacks the training, lacks the expertise, it doesn't fit the profile. So you compare and contrast the most qualified personal protection service organization in the world with the least potentially qualified assassin in the world. And this guy pulled off a successful assassination. If it weren't for however you want to call it, divine providence or just sheer luck, the tilt of the head, he would have killed his target. It would have been a successful assassination. The odds of this happening, Vegas odds makers would you can't calculate because it's impossible. It's literally impossible. And so we have to degrade the Secret Service and we have to enhance the shooter. And it appears that we see evidence of that. We see, just rookie mistakes on the part of the Secret Service. And then the question is, are these intentional or, deliberate, or is it just incompetence? And we have to factor our modify our answer, or at least regulate our answer about incompetence by saying that the Secret Service by design is supposed to be immune to incompetence, that it has a level of professionalism attached to it that precludes incompetence, because the moment you exhibit any incompetence, less than perfect attention to detail, you're removed. They don't tolerate mistakes. And yet they made nothing but mistakes here. And so one has to legitimately ask, were these mistakes deliberate in nature? And the same thing with the shooter. How does he fly a drone? There's reports that he flew a drone. Why does he have 3 phones with encrypted channels, including channels talking to overseas people? How did he get to the roof? How did he get the ladder? How did he get the weapon up there? How did he know to bear crawl? How did he understand the layout of the land so that he could mask his movement up to the point where he took the shot? Because everything that I just described, how did he have a vehicle full of explosives that was rigged to go off as a potential distraction? Everything I've described is the sign of a professional, and a professional that isn't working alone, a professional that is working in league, in concert with others. Everything about the attempted assassination, and again, even though President Trump isn't dead, it is the successful assassination of President Trump, because it was a success. The Secret Service didn't stop this. The assassin wasn't foiled. The assassin got off a killing shot, and it should have killed Donald Trump. The reason why Trump is alive has nothing to do with the Secret Service, nothing to do with protection. It is either divine intervention or just an act of sheer luck. But this was a successful assassination.
Do you think he was trained? Do you think he trained for this, or someone trained him for it? I mean, how would he have known to do the things that you said? Why would he have had 3 phones, and why would he have crawled on his belly, and why would he have had a drone there? And if there was a drone there and it was communicating to him, why didn't those people say one of our iPhones and desktops, the lovely folks at the NSA don't give a damn about the 4th Amendment, why didn't they pick up his communications?
I can't get into the intelligence that surrounds this. You're on the right track. These are good questions. It wouldn't necessarily be the NSA doing this, but they have counter sniper teams there, and one would logically think that there would be communications protection units there. I mean, there are a couple things that can be done in terms of monitoring communications. You should have cell phones of interest, communication patterns of interest, the ability to block cell phone. It's not my business to get down that route, but you're on the right track. There should have been things that aren't normally talked about happening to protect a former president, presidential candidate, potential future president from assassination. Nothing. Again, when we look at the probabilities, the internet is there, and it's a vast resource. And some of the information on it's good, some of the information on it bad, some of the information on it promotes the better aspects of life. Some can be used to bring harm. And if one wants to do the research necessary, I guess you could find out certain things. But somebody sitting in their mother's basement looking on looking at videos and then executing it perfectly the first time out is unlikely. There had to be rehearsals, there had to be training, there had to be some sort of coaching taking place. This didn't happen by itself. And so the idea that this is a lone shooter, a disgruntled person, I mean, to be honest, nobody should be taking that seriously. I mean, if it turns out that that's the case, you should only reach that after you've exhausted every other potential option. You don't lead with lone shooter. You lead with, this is a coordinated assassination attempt by a team of highly qualified personnel who have probably infiltrated the inner workings of the presidential security details so that certain things, you have to assume that the Secret Service was in on this.
That's huge right there. Now, when I watched this earlier, which I thought I did, I thought he segued a lot earlier. So I'm going to just let it play because what he's saying is just huge. So, and then see if he gets to what's going on over in Yemen. So let's see.
You all know that I am a paid spokesperson for Lear Capital, but I'm also...
Yeah, I'm not trying to do that. Come on, Judge. Let's go right here.
Back with Scott Ritter. Scott, my apologies. My camera went down and we ran the Lear ad and then went back and we're back together. How is this attempted assassination being viewed in Beijing, in the Kremlin, and in Western Europe? Do you?
Okay, now we're going into World War III, the World War III aspect of this. Okay, now listen to his answer to this question, right? How is Vlad looking at this? Are they weak, or are the Americans weak? Do we strike now? See, there's again, JFK, right, was going to he was going to bring the boys home from Vietnam, right? After they killed him, which is one of the reasons that they did, because he was going to stop the Vietnam War, right, which was just about to take off, and he was going to put an end to it. So that was one of the reasons. After he was dead, they kicked it into high gear. Well, Trump said that he's going to he's going to stop the Ukraine war and stop the money flow and the whole thing. Now they're taking shots at him. So listen close to this transaction, right? And the question was how are the other presidents and prime ministers, heads of state looking at, how are they looking at what is going on over here? Okay.
Well, I can't speak about Beijing because I don't have the connectivity with China. I hope one day to do so because China is an extraordinarily important nation, and the more we know about China, the better we'll be prepared to act responsibly in working with China or dealing with China, whatever direction we choose to go. I do have some connectivity in Russia, and what I can say is that the Russians are viewing this as part and parcel of a systemic breakdown on the part of the United States. They view the attempted assassination against Donald Trump as being of the same, being part of the same overall scene or narrative of what they're calling a soft coup against Joe Biden. Basically elements within the establishment that are opting to take matters into their own hands to eliminate candidates that aren't going to fulfill their purpose. The physical elimination of Donald Trump, and now we have the political nullification of Joe Biden. From the Russian perspective, this is all part and parcel of the systemic failure of American democracy.
Woo!
Interesting observations. Let's switch gears, Scott, to what's been happening in Israel.
Here's the segue.
From my perspective here in northern Italy, and not having access to all the sources that I normally do when I'm home in New Jersey, it appears as though the Houthis succeeded in landing explosive devices in Tel Aviv. It appears as though the Israelis were not able to shoot down everything the Houthis sent toward Tel Aviv, though they.
Okay, so this is where we come back to let the weak say I'm strong. First, you got to look at America. Supposed to be the big, strong bully on the block. Look at them, stumbling, fumbling over themselves, fighting, civil war, shooting at each other. It's crazy. So, I mean, World War III is going on. How are these? Where's the show of strength? All right.
Or eliminated most of it. Please tell us what's happening.
Well, the Houthi have been very politically astute from the very beginning. Understand that they have been in a state of war against modern Western-style military since 2014, when the conflict with Saudi Arabia began. Saudi Arabia flying virtually similar aircraft that the Israelis fly, dropping bombs that are made in the USA, using intelligence provided by the U.S. So the Houthi know what they're getting involved in. They know what they're getting into. And they have made a decision that they will not stand silent while the Palestinian people in Gaza and in Palestine and in the West Bank are being brutalized and systemically slaughtered by the Israeli government. They have said that they began a naval blockade of the Red Sea, of the Gulf of Aden, of the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, because out of sympathy for the people of Gaza, that blockade won't stop until there's a ceasefire and humanitarian aid comes in, etc.
Let me stop real quick just to say this, okay? Why the distraction? Why this presidential debacle and all the stuff that's going on over here? Why? Because of what he just said. He said that when Saudi Arabia goes and drops bombs on Yemen, it's the United States dropping them bombs. Where did the bombs and the planes come from? They come from here. So when the Israelis go and drop bombs on Yemen, it's the United States dropping the bombs on Yemen. Okay? And before you figure that out, like I'm espousing, there's nothing. Yes, they go ask the Arabs over there who's dropping the bomb. They're gonna say the big Satan, not the little Satan. Okay, they know where the bombs come from. The United States is in up to its eyeballs on the genocide. Okay. Ask the people that are being genocided who's doing this. They're going to tell you the United States is doing it. Okay. While you're over here being distracted, oh, they shot at President Trump. Well, he's not dead, but they're going to talk about that for the next straight month while there's a genocide going on that you're complicit in up to your eyeball. That's what's going on here. Okay, and they know it, those Arabs, they know what's going on. They're not being distracted, okay, with the bullshit.
Israel has been carrying out just wanton genocidal bombings of Gaza and the Gazans now on a daily basis. And so what the Houthi have done is given the Israelis a little bit of their own medicine by attacking Tel Aviv, calling it a military target, and saying that the civilians should evacuate. This is pretty much the same instructions that the Israelis give the Gazans. But there's another element to this that everybody seems to be missing. Because yes, the Houthi attacked, the vast majority of that which they attacked, the weapons they used were dealt with by the Israelis. It's the Israeli response, though. It's just like Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th with the goal of getting the Israelis to overreact. The Houthi attacked Tel Aviv with the goal of getting the Israelis to overreact, and they have. They've struck a port in Yemen that is essential for the provision of humanitarian aid. It reinforces the narrative that Israel is a genocidal state, and it has prompted the result that I think the Houthi were looking for. The Russians have said that they will not stand on the sideline forever while Israel does what it does. And the Russians have also indicated that they will probably provide advanced weaponry to the Houthi. So the next time the Houthi attack, it won't be with old-fashioned drones. They'll be coming at Israel with advanced Russian weapons.
This is what I was saying yesterday. Let the weak say I'm strong. See, the Houthi and Yemeni are about to be armed, and we went over this yesterday. Okay, what he's saying is what was said yesterday in yesterday's daily report or daily update, that the result of what Israel did is, well, we'll go to it and we'll show it again. Let him say a few more words here.
Cannot be shot down by Israeli air defense. The Houthi, they're pretty clever, they're pretty smart, they're strategically astute. Israel once again walked into an ambush that was set by a member of the Axis resistance who knows the region and knows the politics better than Israel does.
I don't want to veer into American domestic politics, Scott, but I was sick to my stomach when I heard J.D. Vance over the weekend suggest we should consider attacking Iran. What role will Iran play in the battle between Israel and the Houthis?
Iran is the silent partner, the silent big partner. They are definitely behind what the Houthi are doing, what Yemen is doing, this part of Yemen, the Ansarallah movement. They're behind the resistance. Iran is the apex of the axis of resistance. And so Iran plays a major role. Just again, I respect, we don't want to get down too far, but, J.D. Vance, he was a Marine, but he was a corporal and he was a combat correspondent who didn't see that much combat. He doesn't know that which he talks about. This is literally the voice of one of the more ignorant people in America about military operations. And he's speaking about Iran, a country he doesn't understand. He thinks he's saying things that play well. He should probably have checked with Donald Trump first, because, Donald Trump ordered the assassination of Qasem Soleimani as an act of retribution for the American perception that Soleimani was responsible for the deaths of hundreds of Americans during the American occupation.
And now there's a hit on Donald Trump coming from the Persians, if you will,
of Iraq and the Iranian support to the resistance. But J.D. Vance should also ask Donald Trump what it felt like to be in the White House as the Iranians signaled that they're going to fire 10 to 12 ballistic missiles against the Al-Assad air base in Iraq. These missiles hit the targets they were looking for with pinpoint precision, and there wasn't anything the United States could do to stop it. And it intimidated Donald Trump to the point where we carried out no further actions. That's the reality of Iran, and that's what J.D. Vance is going to have to be briefed on. He really needs to keep his mouth shut.
Okay, we'll stop it right there. So what he just said is, look, they're not playing. Those Arabs are not playing over there, okay? They are about what they're about to do. Where are we going? Let's go Ezekiel real quick. Let's get that. Let's see. 38. Gog. Okay. Gog, the land of Magog. The land of Magog is talking about Russia. Gog is talking about the Russians. Okay, so there's Iran. Okay. There's Turkey. There's Syria. All right. Here's China. All thy company that are assembled unto thee. Who are the allies of Russia, of the Russians? Well, here they are, the Persians, who are the Iranians, right? And here we have, okay, so here we have Persians that are linked to the Russians, right? Well, here we have the Persians linked to the dragons of Arabia, who are the Arabs. Okay, so start at 28. Second Ezra 15 and 28. Behold, an horrible vision, and then the appearance thereof from the east were the nations of the dragons of Arabia, the Arabs, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Lebanon, right? The dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. The Carmanians, the Iranians, the Persians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them. With who? With the dragons. Okay, so here you have Iran siding with who? Yemen, Lebanon. Okay, the the Palestinians, if you will. Okay, those are Arabs. So what is Iran doing? They're outfitting them. Let's go back here. All right. Be thou, who is thou? This is Gog. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou, and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So what is Russia going to do? It says, and all thy company that are assembled unto thee. Persian. Who are the Persians protecting? The dragons of Arabia. See how it just goes? So directly, Russia can just go straight to the dragon and say, what you need, Yemen? What you need, Houthis? You need Stingers, you need Patriots. We got all of that we took from these Ukrainians that don't know how to use them. I'm sure you could back engineer them, go drop a few, wherever you feel you need to. All right, so this is how the weak are strong, because they got Russia and China, right? Being a guard, giving them weapons, letting the weak say I'm strong. I didn't say that. Scott Ritter said that. Okay, he reiterated what I said yesterday. Okay, so that's basically what I'm trying to say. All right, that is just, and this is the Spirit of the Lord, right? The Spirit of the Lord. If you go back yesterday and watch yesterday's video, right, which is this one, okay, you go back and watch this. Exactly what Scott Ritter is saying right now was said in yesterday's video. About what? About Joel letting the weak say, I'm strong. Okay? And then we went into what? We went into, quickly, I forgot what we went into. But anyway, just more of the same. Where's this thing going? What happened in Tel Aviv, which sparked the attack in Yemen, right, is huge, and you're being distracted, okay, by the whole Trump debacle, or the selection that takes place on November 5th, right? They want you to focus on that, not the genocide going on over there. That kicked the war into high gear, World War III, all right? So anyway, I'm going to end it right there. Should we end it the old-fashioned way? This is how we ended it yesterday. Revelation 11. Don't be distracted from this. It's coming quickly. Revelation 11 and 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Right? Ask Bibi. Right? they got to move quick. They know it that they got but a short time. They're trying to pull the wool over here. Look over here. Look at your president while we're over here conducting a genocide that you're responsible for, right? Go ask the Houthis why they keep going, because they know the source uh, where the bombs being dropped on them are coming from. Now, the weak is about to say, I'm strong. Like, oh, we got Russia's help now. So this is getting good, all right? With that, we hope that the elect were edified. You brothers and sisters, with that, we're going to say shalom.